How do we learn music by heart? Are there any ways besides repetition to do it successfully? I would like to answer that question and share with you my personal methods that I use that help me with learning process. So first of all, I divide the learning process into 4 phases. The first one is practicing, learning. The second one is making mistakes. The third one is fixing them. And the fourth, performing. So let's go to the first phase. Before I start to even practice and take my cello, I take a piece of paper and make a plan. So, of course, we have a deadline, we have a date of the concert, but I create for myself multiple deadlines that I can follow, and that helps me keep motivated and work very efficient. So, for example, by the next week, I want to feel comfortable with the first page. By the XYZ day, I want to accomplish already the whole movement. And it's very important to be aware how hard this piece is, where are the tricky parts, and work on them specifically harder. So from that plan, I break it into even smaller pieces. From one day to another, I write down how much time I actually want to spend of each of the section. And I find it a great tool. It creates a feeling. I have a coach who is training me, and I follow the plan and I feel safe and secure. So this is number 1. Number 2 is being aware what time of the day is the best for my brain to work. And then you adjust the whole day to this very moment. So for example, I am a morning person. My brain works the best from 10 till 12. So I make sure I wake up early and dedicate my whole day to these 2 hours. The next tip is sleep. I don't know if you know, but actually the learning process, how our brain process things, happens during sleep. So it has to do a lot with neuroplasticity. And what happens is that neurons strengthens their connections, and they take a section that is saved on our brain on, so to say, short-term memory, and is transported to the long-term memory. This is exactly what happens while we're sleeping. So don't underestimate this time of the day. Make sure you go to bed early. You take a nap. I'm a big fan of naps, so make sure you are rested and you don't practice like crazy, because practice doesn't bring results as itself. So we have sleep, and of course the other part that maybe I don't need to talk much about is good food. Treat yourself with healthy food, and just be good for yourself. And exercise. This is something what I was doing for many years, but I wasn't really aware it's beneficial for my brain. I just thought it's good for my body to be in shape and to be ready for the piece from the physical side. But actually exercise improves our cognition. So definitely make sure besides practice you have this time during a day when you have time for exercise. The last point in the first phase is mental practice. This is something I do quite often during a day. And I remember as a teenager reading this interesting study. I found it in a book on emotional intelligence by Goleman. And he talked about an experiment on a baseball player team. So half of the team was practicing throwing a ball into the basket with actual ball, and the other half of the team was just imagining doing that. And as a result came out, imagine that the team who was practicing with the ball was just slightly better than the other half. So I remember this study made a big impact on me and proved that mental practice is so powerful, and what is great about it is that you can do it really in any place you want. You can take your scores to the bus, on a train. Before you go to sleep, you can read the scores, relive really playing. This is a very important point. Try to imagine that you are playing. Or first thing, when you wake up, you don't look at your phone, you don't check Instagram, you really take the scores and play again the whole piece in your head. It's really, really helpful. Then let's move on to the next phase, which is making mistakes. And this one is quite interesting because I remember as a kid I was very stressed and very frustrated with myself when I made a mistake. But actually later on I understood that mistakes help us to improve. So my relationship changed a lot towards mistakes, and I started to, in a way, love them. And they help me to fix places in a piece that feel unsure. The only thing is that I made for myself a rule. I don't want to make a mistake twice, so I keep myself motivated. My brain is awake all the time, and I try to work harder. Yeah. Now it comes the time when we can already face ourselves with what comes easily to us or not. And you can already notice that some parts are very easy to play and some are very stubborn. So this is a trick that I use, and I call it a storytelling. So if there is a section or a phrase where it's a bit tricky to memorize, I try to make up a story in my head that will help me understand why this particular phrase or note was written. And it can be quite funny, or it doesn't need to be too much, doesn't need to be sophisticated. The main point is it makes sense in your head. So for example, when composer writes C in exposition, and he writes B natural in the recap, the way you can memorize it is that you are already tired after playing such a long piece and you want to go to bed, and B natural is written lower than C. You know what I mean? It's just a very silly example, but the point is you just remember these little cues while playing a piece, and they will help you to avoid the mistakes, and they will help you to go through those tricky moments that are, for some reason, not easy to learn. So now we are going to the phase of fixing mistakes. And this phase I would definitely plan at least a week before your concert, so you have enough of time to play the piece many times through. Important thing is scores shouldn't be close to you, so you can't really see them, because scores bring you safety. And we try at this phase to enhance the adrenaline in your body, and to evoke this feeling that we have on the stage. We have only one chance to play the piece. So you can obviously play it for your friends or in front of your teacher. For me, it's even enough to play, to put on my phone recorder, and it's a great tool to double check which parts are tricky and go through the whole piece once more. And then it comes the final date, which is the concert. And I think the point of the whole 4 phases is to just trust the process, because of course when you perform a very difficult piece for the first time on a stage, self-doubt will come to you. Before maybe you'll have a blackout, you'll forget how to even start a piece. It's completely normal. Just trust the process, trust yourself that you train with this wonderful coach, which is you, yourself, and just trust that if you come on the stage, everything will come to you. If you make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. You know how to go go on. So yeah, these are my tips. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you'll find it helpful for yourself. Thank you.